All right, I'd like to call this Town of Cedar Lake Unsafe Building Department meeting for February 21st, 2024 to order at 5:31. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Need to turn on the mic. Should have done that first. All right, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Here.
Ms. Dessauer?
Present.
Mr. Teal?
Here.
Mr. Deutmeyer?
Here.
Ms. Abernathy?
Present.
Mr. Gatto?
Here.
Ms. Heidi is present.
All right, first item is going to be nomination of officers. Chairperson, can I get a motion for chairperson?
Yeah, I'll nominate Rich Teal for chairperson.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
No, sir.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Vote carries 3-0. All right, thank you. And I'd like to have a motion for vice chair.
I'd like to put nomination Heather how do you pronounce your last name? Dessauer for vice chair.
And I will second that. All right, can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. All right, thank you very much. Vote carries 3-0. All right, minutes. All right, minutes basically are going to be from November 15th, 2023, December 20th, 23, January 17th, 2024, which was a work session. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for those dates?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Heather, seconded by Jeff. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Vote carries 3-0. All right, moving on to item 1, an active unsafe, 8120 Lakeshore Drive, Bank Shots Bar and Grill, formerly Shane's Bar and Grill.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Good
Good, thank
morning.
you.
I'm Joe Lopez. We represent Bank Shots or the old Shanes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so,
Could we get the address also for the record, please?
okay, 8120 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake, Indiana.
Thank you. All right, any other update or information with,
So we hired the lawyer, the architect, everybody's been working together. I'm not really sure where that, I know we were coming to plan commission meetings, or they were, to try to get our concepts approved.
Mhm.
So we've been taking care of that, so I'm just not really sure exactly where they're at. I've been touching base with the lawyer, so really we're just waiting to hear back, what's our next step. And we want to get going as soon as possible. We just, we're just waiting to get our concepts approved, whatever we can get approved for our parking and everything to move forward. So we're just really waiting. We're ready to go whenever.
all right, do you know if
So,
they are, because I was at the last plan commission meeting that it was presented at, and kind of familiar with what was presented and stuff.
Yes, they were, their last presentation was at the January 3rd meeting. They presented 2 more concept level site plans with 2 different parking plans, and kind of an indoor rendering of what they wanted inside for a rooftop and then for the basement. And there was concern over the amount of seating inside and the amount of parking provided outside, and
I think it was like triple.
53
Yeah.
some parking spaces and only like 20 some parking spaces were what was being provided. So I have not touched base with their attorney since that time to see where they're at on updating it, trying to get it closer to or matching what was required for ordinance for parking. But that was kind of their last update at the January 3rd Plan Commission meeting.
Is that the message that you received, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I'm on the plan commission as well, so I'm very familiar with
Okay.
the project. And just so you're aware, first of all, the concept plan is beautiful. I mean, your plan for the building
I
is,
mean, everything around here is beautiful. We want this to, we want to be able to fit in. I mean, we want to make sure we do it right. We get one shot. We want it to be nice.
and I appreciate the work that you guys put into too with the concept plan. I mean, gorgeous. I'd love to see that here. The problem, it boils down to the parking.
I understand.
And it was literally 3 times, I believe, as much. As soon as you remove the golf cart and motorcycle parking and just do the actual standard parking spaces, it was so far off.
So I was thinking, I mean, I don't know if it's an option, if we can, get it, I mean, whatever we can get approved, I mean, I'd like to get it up and going, and we can always have future plans, you know, you never know, maybe a house next to us might wanna sell, we might try to pick up another lot or something
Yeah.
for the future. But whatever we can get accepted for now, I mean, we're willing to do whatever we need to do to move forward.
So the reason that you're here though is because at that meeting, when we realized the first plan was off with parking, and then the
Right.
second plan was off even more, and then I was like, okay, so we need to have a regroup here, because
Okay.
we're still looking at this building, and it is not,
I mean, if we can get, I mean, we're willing to go over and do more work, cleaning up around there, I mean, I just, you know, there's only, our hands are tied, I mean, I like to get it, you know, I can't stand looking at it either, I know it's an eyesore for everybody, you know?
what's the best, and I appreciate that, I do, what's the best plan for, we're going farther apart, and that's when I said, okay, we need to get them in front of us again.
Can we get something maybe where we can come up with like, a step program, maybe we can get, okay, you guys be like, all right, you guys can get the building cleaned out, get the new roof on, and then maybe we could take it step by step, and maybe we can figure out a plan from there. If you guys approve so many parking spots, then we'll build to that, but I mean, later, like that'll give us a plan, like if we can get a lot later, we can put a roof on, maybe later we can get rooftop if we get more parking.
Right.
We can build it to that standard, you know, if we could just.
I think it
come up
was
with
the
different
addition
steps.
to lower, you know, main floor and upper is what
Yeah.
increased the extra parking.
So maybe more like a step plan, where
Right.
you use what you
Stages.
have.
We'll do different stages, you know, in the near future, you never know what holds.
Yeah.
And like I said, maybe, you know, one of the neighbors will sell to us, and maybe, you know, we'd like to do that, I mean, that's.
What is
all
the total
plan.
parking spaces now? What, I don't remember off the,
We were literally, it was 3 times what was,
Yeah,
the capacity as completed was,
But the sidewalks are going in, correct? Right, that's why we had to hire an architect with the different stages you guys are doing for the village, you guys are putting in sidewalks and everything?
the sidewalk is on the,
Because that's why we had to hire an architect to make sure
South.
everything,
it would, well, no, the plans I seen yesterday, the sidewalk actually would, that they presented from DS starts from the roundabout to.
on
the
their side?
capability- No, so from the right side of the photo, if you look, where the roundabout is, it starts there and goes, you know, so not even to
Yeah.
the left yet.
So,
But
You're saying
it-
the new one, right, or no?
looking at the staff report from the January 3rd meeting, if they were to just do the first floor, that only requires 16 spaces, and they had 15 10 by 20, so that would put them off by 1 versus
which is
53.
totally
Which is,
achievable.
yes,
right. That
So maybe look at doing the first floor first.
only.
sounds good. Okay, so then we'll put together a concept for that, and bring it, I'll have it brought to the lawyer, and, have him bring it to the plan commission
Is-
meeting, that sound good?
Is that current design, from what you've seen, do you think it could go in phases to where it
Oh,
would
yeah,
work for them for sure?
Because you
To
could,
where,
yes,
to where it doesn't mess them up costing more in phasing it, you know what I'm saying, where it gets built,
Like,
it's just
so-
no chairs upstairs
So if
kind
we
of thing.
build the roof, we can build a roof later on, maybe, you know, maybe we can get a rooftop, maybe we buy another, we'll be set up for that. If not,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, we're gonna build a roof regardless. You know, so, but if we could get it set up for that, it'd be great, you know? You never
Yeah.
know what holds. We could still get it, we could still build it and have it set up to our parking, and then maybe later on we can expand.
grow from there.
Yeah.
I love that idea,
That
because it's
sounds
a
good.
beautiful
See, I wanna
plan.
do something, I mean, and I know, we get it all the time, everybody's like, hey, what are you guys doing, what's going on over there? Hey, you guys sure you got the building? Yeah, we got the building, you know? So we're getting it all the time, I just wanna move forward, we wanna move forward, we're excited,
Yeah,
You know.
the best plan for you is to, you have to
Scale
match
down.
the parking, or at least
Okay.
come very close to matching
So
that
I'll get
parking.
together a concept plan, we'll start working on it right away, and then we'll present it next, the plan commission meeting. And when's the next meeting?
We meet the first and third Wednesdays of every month.
March
Okay,
6th
I'll
at
talk
6
to
PM.
What is it?
March 6th at 6 PM, so Adam would have to have something to me by next Friday, March 1st at noon.
Okay, sounds good, I'll start working with the,
And it'd be great for you to be there too, just.
Okay, great, we'll be there, and I'll make sure that, we'll start working with the architect, we'll get the concept plan all together, and I'll have it all ready for you guys. I know exactly what you guys want.
Okay.
So with today, though, I'm
Yeah, we
guessing
kinda
we're gonna
got
need to, I'm guessing we're gonna need a motion to defer this, though, for that, but, I mean, I know we keep deferring stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, this is a great plan, and they
Yeah.
have been trying, and they've come
Yeah.
from the plan commission 2 times, we're getting farther and
Yeah.
farther apart, so now I feel like we can get to a space where we
Yeah.
can all agree,
Sounds good.
and so,
I mean, so the next meeting would be
The next unsafe would be March 20th, I believe.
You guys want to say March, the next day?
Yeah, it would be fine for me personally, I don't want to speak for the board here, but I'd be fine with the 30-day.
Does that put us just before the next one though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a 35-day.
So, well, do we do 60 just to make it so we know what happens at the next plan commission?
Well, the
That's
plan
a-
would be for him to be the plan commissioner on the 1st.
Right, would be the March 6th
Oh,
plan commission.
oh, on
So
the
the March 20th unsafe would be after that work session.
Okay.
It'd be nice to come, and I'd hate to have you run back and forth to a bunch of meetings, but it'd be nice
No,
for you to
it's
go
not-
to the
it's not
plan
a big deal.
commission and then come here
Yeah.
and speak.
Okay, so the March
Yeah.
6th, what time is that meeting?
6 p.m.
6 p.m., okay, so you guys changed the times on all the meetings, right?
We like to confuse everyone.
Yeah.
Something we do here.
I'll show up at 7, and then everyone will be gone.
March,
Yeah.
March
So
6th
6 o'clock?
at 6 p.m.
And then we'll come back, you said March 20th?
Yes, and that's at 5:30.
5:30, okay.
So that'd be a 30-day?
I mean, we'll come anyways, and, I mean,
So that gives you the, because for here, we're talking plan commission and unsafe. So for here, if we give you a 30-day deferral
yes.
on the unsafe, that allows you to come to the plan commission at the beginning of the month, meet us back here in 30 or so days, and then
Sounds
everyone's
great.
happy.
Sounds great, so I'll see you guys on March 6th, I have everything.
So,
Yeah, so can I make a motion?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to defer this for 30 days.
all right, we have a motion by Heather and a second by Jeff. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Vote carries 3-0.
See how
Thank you
great it
very
is when you
much.
come and we can just talk and work
I
things
know,
out?
I appreciate
Perfect.
it, we do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys have a great night.
Thank you too.
All right, moving on to item 2, 9320 West 142nd Avenue, Northwest Indiana Casas LLC, formerly Midland Trust Company, as custodian of FBO Pamela Broadway, account 1716575. Do we have a petitioner here for this?
I am not seeing them. I know that they were aware that this was going to be tonight's meeting. Let me check Zoom. I do not see them on Zoom.
Background while we wait
Mm-hmm.
for our new members here is that this changed hands. This was under Pamela Broadway owned this for a while. It was in front of us on the unsafe. She sold it without letting, allegedly, without
Mhm.
letting the new buyer know that it was on our list.
They already started work on it prior to that, right?
They had
And that's
started,
where the-
correct, yeah, they had started work and without having permits done, so we stopped work. She sold it in the process, and then it changed hands to this company who was, their intent was to purchase it and flip it, but then they were paused because they didn't realize they were in front of the unsafe, so they had to undo. Last we talked, they were going to demo some of the inside so we could get in and, what happened, Tony? Nothing? Perfect.
They've
Okay.
flip-flopped on who they're going to be having doing the interior demo. First they were going to get a company, and now they're free, so now they want to get registered and they want to do the work, and prior to that it was somebody else was going to do it, but then they weren't pulling the permits and they weren't doing the work, so it's,
Here we are.
here we are.
He seemed like he had good intentions when he first came about getting it taken care of, but then it seems like he's paused.
I think it might be on the 5th.
Yes, this is a bad,
So I don't know if you want to move it to the end and see if they show up. Maybe they forgot the time, that it started at 5:30 instead of 6.
Yeah,
he has been present for the other one.
yeah.
He has.
That's, yeah,
Maybe just pause this one for now, see if he shows.
yeah, we'll discuss this later on what's gonna happen at the end, if they show up, if they do, if they don't, we'll discuss it then. All right, item number 3, 7308 West 138th Place, Parrot.
He is online via Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Mr. Parrott, if you could, please state your name and address for the record. Oh, he's on mute.
Did you hear that?
Can you say that again?
Were you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, do you want me to say that again?
Yes, if you could, please.
Yes, Joseph Parrott, 4218 Garden Ridge Road, Crestwood, Kentucky, 40014.
Thank you very much. All right, do we have any update on this one?
So at the December Unsafe meeting, this item was deferred. It was a continued, initially to January for continuing the public hearing on whether or not the Unsafe Board wanted to move forward with the affirmation of demolition order. At the December meeting, Mr. Parrott talked about he was still looking at trying to sell the house, but then he was also talking to a company to see if he was going to do some remodeling work on that property. To give the board some information, because we have two new members, the reason we looked at doing the initial and then affirming demolition order, and Brian can correct me if I'm wrong on any part of it, was because of the fact that we had a different unsafe house sell, and the new owner come in and said, oh, we had no clue that it was an unsafe house. We wanted to have a way of protecting the town and providing information that this is an unsafe house. Don't just start knocking down walls or knocking down the building without coming to the town and coming and presenting a plan to the Unsafe Board first. So that way, with the affirming order, it can then get recorded at Lake County, and then when a title search occurs, that unsafe order then populates on that title search.
Yeah, so the unsafe building law has a mechanism that allows municipalities to record its orders. Absent that, if we don't take it up to Lake County Recorder's Office, the title company is never going to pick it up. And that assumes, of course, that people would actually close these deals at title companies, which isn't always true. But at least it is actual notice to the world as to what's going on. If the recordation doesn't happen, then we have the situation that we just talked about with Pamela Broadway. So the prior board had considered this new approach, and just for the record, in the years I've sat at this table, no order has ever been recorded. So it was something that is sort of a reaction to what happened with item number 2, as to why they wanted to consider changing things up. Now, Mr. Parrott has admittedly been at pretty much every meeting that this matter has been called for. There's been ample discussions about what's going on and the intent as to why, things would happen in terms of getting the order in place and actually recording it. He has, I believe, and I don't want to speak for him, he's been very vocal about the fact that he would prefer, I don't think, if that happened, but has also acknowledged his requirements under the statute that he has to convey information about the unsafe building proceedings to a potential buyer. And the only real benefit to recording it is, I don't want to, come off as being a little harsh, but we have no control over what Mr. Parrott or any other person on this agenda does, right? He could sit here and tell us that he's going to tell his buyer, but then we can't ensure that that happens. I'm not saying, Mr. Parrott, you're going to do that, but that was sort of the theory as to why the prior board had kind of wanted to go down this path. In December, there were discussions because the board had issued the initial unsafe order. It was up for the affirming order, which would then be recorded. At that meeting, my recollection is Mr. Parrott wanted an additional continuance. The property has been listed. I do recall there being some discussion on improvements. And just generally speaking, knowing that there was a change in administration that was occurring, we believed it was something that was more fit for this board to tackle, to see how they wanted to address this situation, situations like it.
Okay, and I see that this, initial report was December of 2022. I know these photos are quite outdated. The garage is down.
Yes, it is.
And, from what I understand, I've seen that it's down and stuff. And I know that was from watching the past meetings and stuff, that was part of the agreement before, am I correct? That it was the garage first, and then they would deal with the house, right?
The other thing, if I may, that I left out, this one is unique compared to most in that there is someone living in this house.
Is there someone living there, though?
He has moved out.
Okay.
So I was up there last week, and he is gone. Other than some things he left behind, I gotta make sure, if he wants any of it or whatever. And there is still some items in the yard that need to be cleaned up, but he is gone.
Okay.
Yes.
So then this is like.
Yeah, I kinda heard a similar story.
I didn't wanna cut
so
you off,
I
but
just wanted
I-
to make sure from him himself, so, all right.
So, any traction with the potential sale, or
Yeah,
what
that's
are we
what I
looking?
wanted, I was waiting, I didn't know if you all had more to say, but basically, last week I was up there. Again, you know, I went through the property, I know he has left. I have had several discussions with my realtor. With the breaking of the weather, there have been some more interest, which is kind of obvious, but she's dealing with two other realtors, and one is supposed to put in an offer this week, so, you know, you never know on any of this, but I can tell you, the contract with this particular agent is up at the end of this, or the middle of March, so I guess I would kinda ask that, you know, as far as any demo things, if we could push that just till at least that, contract would end with the listing agent. But I did talk with Jeremy McNamer, as I said I would, JJM and Home Improvement, but it would be too big of a project for him, and the more I look at everything, I still would prefer just to sell it, as I told you from day one. Or I shouldn't say that, I was unsure back then, but since I listed it for sure, I just wanted to sell it, and, because it is a good piece of property, it's in a good location. There was a lot of interest initially, then winter hit, and obviously not a lot. It's starting to seemingly happen again where folks are interested. So I would like to still sell the property, and, you know, I'll clean it up the best I can so it doesn't look as bad as it has. It looks obviously better than it did, but it's still not, obviously I'm not proud of it. But that's kind of where I'm at, so I would ask just to defer any proceedings with demolition or anything, at least until next month. So
I mean,
so,
personally, you know, as far as anything in the yard, and I know it's changed since these photos, at least getting the yard cleaned up, you know, and then, you know, so all the clutter isn't around the yard,
which we have done, I mean, compared to what it was, it's, you know, he had there were so many different things. Most of the stuff's gone, but there's like a little rowboat he left there, and he put up some temporary little garage. There's nothing major out there anymore, but some stuff he had in the back, like where I think he had bonfires or something, but it's not terrible now as far as the other, you know, the house doesn't look good, but everything else is kind of what you see in that neighborhood anyway. I mean, Terry Glines in back of me, he's got more crap, excuse my language, stuff in his on his property all the time, so.
Ouch. Wow.
okay.
What about the property, or the home itself, is that secured?
Yeah, it's secured, but you know, obviously, I've been in it, and it's, I mean, it's not in any danger of anything, you know, falling down or anything, but it needs enough work to where I think I'm at a point, sell it or demolish it.
So, Tony, as far as secure, like, there's no broken windows, doors hanging open, that kind of stuff, right?
No, I mean, the tenant was living there, and
Right.
I believe it was secure enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if there's cracked windows and whatnot, it's not like there's any that are missing or doors kicked in or anything like that, so.
No, and I was there last Thursday before I left town, so. And I actually have some of the neighbors across the street keeping an eye on it as well.
I mean, I'm with Rich as far as the exterior, I understand the rest, but if you're saying there's garbage outside, taking the neighbor outside of how you feel about his situation, you know, unfortunately you're the one in front of us right now. So what's your intention on removing things like the rowboat and the other garbage?
Well, like I said, I don't know if it's stuff he intended to take or not. I've tried to contact him, he hasn't gotten back to me, so if it's not gone, you know, in the near future, I plan on actually coming up there in early March, so if it's not gone, I'll move it or do something with it. But that's all, I mean, it's not like there's garbage laying around, I'm just saying there's some things that, you know, it's in where the driveway would have been on the side of the house, it's not, you know, like, in the yard per se, but.
Yeah, I would just think some effort to clean up all the debris while we wait for a month instead of just leaving it there.
Yeah, I'll definitely try my best to do that. But again, it's not like there's debris, like, you know, again, when this first started, there was stuff all over the place. And you all know that.
Yeah.
Not all, you know, the folks that were there anymore.
Any discussion on what you're thinking, Heather, or?
I mean,
Aye.
what do you discuss about that?
Well, I know later on we're gonna be discussing some changes with the ordinance and
I think that needs to happen before.
any other things.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
I can make a motion then.
okay.
I'll make a motion for a 30-day referral.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion for a 30-day referral from Heather and a second from Jeff. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Motion carries.
Mr. Parrott, I would ask that you please get the outside taken care of so the neighbors don't have to look at that.
I'm in agreement 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 4, 13947 Hobart Street, Weiss.
Good evening, see some new faces here. I'm here appearing on behalf of Patrick Weiss, property 13947 Hobart Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana.
Okay, could we get your name and address,
Yes,
please?
David R. Dargo. You want my firm's address, or you don't want
Typically
mine?
be firm, where it's from, right? Yes.
Yeah, so 5985 East, 1015 North, Vermont, Indiana, 46310.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then, do I need to repeat the address?
No.
Okay, we got that on the record. So, I mean, just a brief rundown. Previously, there was a fraudulent conveyance of this property, so my client couldn't really do anything with the property in the meantime until we got A taken care of. We filed a plenary action, a quiet title action against the fraudulent conveyor. And we secured a default judgment against them in the past 2 weeks. It's my client's intention to get this property listed and sold as quickly as possible. He doesn't have any sort of sentimental value or feelings towards it whatsoever. He just wants to get it sold as quickly as possible. So we have a final hearing in this matter scheduled for April 19th, 2024 in the Lake Superior Court. The property's been transferred, or well, it's intended to be transferred. We submitted amended deeds over to the recorder's office for their review. We anticipate that they'll accept those and then get those recorded in the quiet title book. And then thereafter, we could get it transferred into my client's name alone. So he's gonna get the properties listed. We're scheduled for our final hearing in this case on April 19th. And we hope to get the deeds amended and corrected and get this taken care of and move on, essentially. The property is secure. There's no like debris or anything else of that nature like laying around. It's locked. There's no broken windows, no kicked in doors, anything like that. Doesn't have garbage or anything laying around the yard, so.
And the desire this whole time was to get everything corrected, and it was
Yes.
just a matter of it being tied up in the legal process.
Yeah, it was tied up in litigation. He couldn't get it sold. He couldn't do anything with it. It was really just a crazy case of a guy, you know, taking and recording deeds and using a notary that wasn't real and things of that nature. So he got it through. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he didn't show up to our hearing, so we got a default judgment, and now it's correctly within the estate that we have filed, and we're gonna get that transferred over to our client, and then he'll be able to sell and list them.
So you anticipate after the court date on April 19th, that being completed and him being able to list it at that
Yes.
point?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Fully.
So in the meantime, after March, if it was a 60-day, that still puts us 2 days past the April 17th meeting.
Yeah, I won't have much clarity until after the April 19th hearing, I'm just being honest.
Right.
So if I could, I know it's kind of lengthy, but I'd ask for the 90-day deferment so I could just come to the third meeting and I'll have a ton of clarification on the issue then. My hope is that it just will be sold by then, but I can't say for certain. He's not looking for, you know, something beyond fair market value at this point. He just wants to get rid of the properties.
Okay.
We'd be willing to come for a 6-day deferment, I don't know whether or not I'll have a concrete update if I don't have it completed by the 19th.
Right, and that was my thought by looking at the calendar at the 17th, you know, and then, you know, we already have several items on here already, and just to call you up here for a 5 or 10 minute conversation even is just adding to it, so. I'm just trying to be realistic with it, that we, you know, since the court date is for the 19th, we just, you know, do a 90 till the March 15th meeting.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys have been agreeable and, like,
Yes.
working your best. It's just, like you said, it was just a crazy situation.
It was just a crazy situation, he couldn't do anything with the properties, and we anticipated having it honestly completed by now, but we got it done, it's in his name,
Yeah.
in the estate's name, so.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's anxious to probably put all this behind him as well,
Yeah,
so.
that's all he wants to do, he wants to just get rid of it, get rid of the properties, get them sold.
If we do the 90 days, would you give us an update, should there be any update between now and then?
Absolutely, so I do correspond with Attorney Deutmeyer occasionally, so I'll be sure, once the property's listed, or if there's any sort of ancillary updates that come about in the meantime, I'll be sure to shoot him an email and have them let you guys know.
Okay, because if something crazy happens and this isn't gonna happen on April 19th.
I'll absolutely, you know, so if for some reason, you know, he files some kind of motion to correct or something, because the default judgment was granted on 25th, so technically it's 30 days, but, if for some reason it gets continued or something of that nature comes up, I will certainly let Mr. Deutmeyer know immediately.
Right, and even if, you know, even if we're to sell before the May 15th meeting, we still have the issue of, it's still in the current, you know, state of the property, so it would still be on the list.
Okay.
So just because of the sale of it doesn't mean that, you know.
And he's been apprised fully that, hey, you gotta let him know that this is, you know, on the unsafe building list, that you're gonna have the 10 meetings, and that it may be, you know, order for demo if you do purchase it, or you're gonna have to make significant upgrades to the property in order to avoid demolition, so.
Yeah.
He understands that. He had been discussing with potential buyers in the meantime, because we were hoping to get this thing resolved and sold in the interim, but regardless, he understands his responsibility to inform any and all buyers, and he's gonna inform whatever realtor he hires that, hey, this isn't exactly, you know, a show-worthy property at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
One of the things, one of the houses that we're gonna come up to here on the list shortly, the property owner, when he sold it, contacted me, told me the name of the buyer, and the buyer actually also contacted me as well, so that could be one of the things as well, that if he does sell it, either you could reach out to me, or the potential buyer reach out to me, so that I can appropriately advise
New
them
contact
which.
info.
I'll pass along your contact information to a potential buyer, or when it's sold, and I'll certainly reach out to you as well.
Good.
I'm good.
All right, I'll be looking for a motion then for a 90-day deferral till the May 15th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion made for a 90-day deferral to the May 15th meeting by Heather, seconded by Jeff. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Sessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, vote carries 3-0.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming.
Item number 5, now in the past, have you guys just done them individually or put them both together?
Well, they're kind of married, the two of them, because one of them was hinging on the other, so.
Okay, so we are going to do 5 and 6, 7105 West 128th Avenue, 7109 West 128th Avenue, Cagnina.
Yes, sir. Congratulations to the new members.
Thank you. Name and address for the record?
7105 West 128th Cedar Lake.
Okay.
What we got here is I got a new builder, and I got the steps started with Milmar Builders. And I came in to do some permits seeking, and he said that he spoke to someone, and I said, who was it? He didn't know who it was.
Which address is that?
That's 7105.
The 7105?
Yeah, that's gonna be first.
Okay.
We talked about it, and I asked Ashley, I said, what will it take to get me out of these meetings constantly? He said, take care of both of those properties at one time. So I'm gonna knock them down,
Okay.
and, start the foundation all the way up. And right now, I put my down payment towards this builder, and plans are being, made to, the next steps. So, the project scope of it all, and,
Is the demo scheduled on these two?
not yet. I told him today about what we discussed, and he said within 2 weeks, they're gonna go in there and, 2 to 3 weeks, go and take care of the rip down.
Are they licensed with us, Ashley?
Not yet. They have been apprised of what is required to be licensed with the town. I had a lengthy conversation with the builder yesterday. I told them all requirements for a general contractor in the town, and that they do need to be licensed before any permits can be pulled. Told them that they need to pull permits and everything like that.
How long is the process for a contractor to get licensed? The
They just
town
need-
generally? Just bringing in the,
They need to bring in a completed application with all documents required, and as long as all documents required are submitted and everything is in good order, they're licensed then.
And then for them to get a demo permit timeframe.
They would have to submit the demolition permit. The way it works is when it comes to unsafe properties, the Unsafe Board in the past has presented time limits that we can put on those permits. If the Unsafe Board gives a time period and those permits are submitted, then we can continue on through the typical building permit process. You say 60 days, okay, we give them a 60-day demo permit. You say 30 days, we give them 30 days. But if the time period's not put on, then it's waiting until the next unsafe meeting for me to tell you they have submitted a permit, this is what they submitted a permit for, what timely would the board like to see on that permit.
Well, what I'm wondering is, so by the next meeting, let's say they got approved, the company doing the demo, can they just come in and get the demo permit and do it before we even have the next meeting?
if we guide her that way, yes.
Yes, if you provide in any motion that any permit submitted, they can, 30, 60 days, they can submit that permit, and then we can put that on that. Without a time limit put on by the board, it's waiting until our next meeting.
I mean, in a perfect world, if he gets, if the contractor got the, all their licensing to do it here in Cedar Lake, then, if they come in for the permit, I don't see why to hold it till the next meeting just to say, okay, let's do this. I say we make that decision now, that if he can get a licensed contractor for here, and they can come in and get the permit,
And I can.
more power to you, tear it down before the next meeting.
So it'd be like a 30-day deferral with the understanding if they come in for a permit, they would be issued a 30-day demo permit.
Absolutely. That sounds good.
So that means I don't have to be at the meetings, I can stay in contact as it's being done?
No, you still have to come. If the houses come down between now and the next meeting,
Yeah.
Good.
then you're done.
Okay.
But if the houses are still here, so we would issue you a 30-day deferral right now.
Okay,
If between now and then, you're able to get your contractor gets the demo permit and demos the property, you call Ashley, you say, hey, they're down, Tony goes out there, confirms, and we're good to go. Should those properties not come down in the next 30 days, you would have to report to the next meeting.
what happens if Tony can't make it then?
Tony can get
I'll
out
make
there.
it.
We want you off this list as much as you want to be off the list.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, he's been seeing me all kinds of excuses.
Yeah.
Turning builders and letting them go and.
Well, it sounds like you have a good plan now, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate you just getting them down, because, it's like,
I know.
so, yeah. So, can I go ahead and make that motion?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion for a 30-day deferral with the understanding, should your contractor come in the meantime, we will approve a 30-day demo permit, and you will have to report to the next meeting.
Is dynamite allowed?
I would say no to that, yeah. Hard no.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Is that for both of them?
No, you have to do them separately. So this is for 7105.
Okay, sorry. I know we lumped them together now, so this is for 7105.
Correct.
I'm offering both.
We'll just have to say the same thing again.
Okay.
Yes. All right, so we have a motion for 7105, for deferral for 30 days with the, direction of if they can get a demo permit, the 30-day permit. If it is down before then, they can contact Ashley. If it is not, that they will still have to show up on the 20th. All right, can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Vote carries 3-0. All right, now we'll go to 7109.
Yeah, I'll make that same motion, a 30-day deferral with the understanding should your contractor come in the meantime, we will issue a 30-day demo permit. If they are not taken down, you'll have to report to the next meeting.
Okay.
Go second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote on that one?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Vote carries 3-0. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Right, let's see. Let me get to the right one. All right, item number 7, 139-441 Moore Street, Stoyer.
My name's Hansel Stoyer, 139 Moore Street, like about 249 South Chase Drive, Rockwood.
All right, do we have an update on this one?
So at the December meeting, Mr. Story appeared and advised that they finally got everything taken care of. It was in his and his sister's name instead of their parents' name. At the last meeting, he talked about he had secured the property, the house, and the big garage on the property, and that he was going to be looking at potentially selling it. They were going to be getting some stuff cleared out, and he was going to come back and kind of give an update on the property at our next meeting, which was originally the January, which we obviously made a work session, and now the February meeting.
Yeah, so we had taken several loads of stuff out of the house that we wanted to, save and keep. So we have done that. We did get an appraisal, which came in like 2 weeks ago. So we're still going through the appraisal. Again, there's still more stuff we want to take out of the house. And we will look at getting a price for a demolition, but again, we haven't had, chance of it. Again, this just happened last, I think it started in July of last year.
That sounds about right. And Mr. Stoyer's been, once we got in contact, he's been great attending every meeting we've requested and working on getting everything taken care of.
So, we're gonna look at that next. We'll see what it's gonna cost to take it down.
Are you agreeable with removing the things from the exterior, the car? I think there's a couple cars and...
There's a car, I can get rid of the car for sure, but there's a truck that's been in there for 20-some years. There's a tree growing through it.
Inside the barn?
No,
Or
outside.
in the exterior, outside?
Inside the barn, there's no...
I'm more concerned about the...
It's the outside.
Outside car on the outside,
This one.
we can definitely get rid of.
Yeah.
That's for sure. The only other car I'm aware of was something.
Yeah, it was just the two I see.
Two inside, but I mean, they're
Oh,
not.
they're inside.
Yeah, that's not the issue. The outside, the truck that the tree's growing through that I see in the photo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been there for a long time, but I could try to take that apart and get rid of it.
I mean, I think for me, just the car that you can get out, I don't know that I feel like the truck should probably be some sort of a monument by now, because that's pretty cool. But and just keeping the exterior clean, which I believe it is. Every time I drive by, I don't really see anything there.
Right.
Yeah, we keep it mowed. I mean, it's been keeping it. There's a fallen tree that I have not dealt with.
Yeah, I know, I drive by it every day, and since he's gotten it secured, it looks like they've maintained it quite well.
Yes.
So what are you looking for here? I understand your potential plan for this, so...
Yeah, we need, there's still stuff to do at the house, and we need to get some, pricing on some different contractors to take it down. And it's gonna take time.
Is your aunt Betty Pig?
Huh?
Is your aunt Betty Pig, who passed away?
Yeah, she passed away, yeah.
Yeah, and so Karen Stevens and Linda Stevens and Tom
Yeah, Tom
Stevens.
worked for the town through like.
Yeah, Tom Stevens used to be our street superintendent.
That's good for now.
Now, do you plan on keeping the house, keeping the property and doing, or just
Yeah.
want to
You know.
demo?
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep the property
Great.
now, yeah.
Okay.
I gotta deal with the
We're
house
gonna
first.
clean up
Okay.
this. We're doing that.
Put that update item.
Yes, I would think that would be probably the best thing.
Okay, I'm ready to make a motion.
All right.
I'd like to make a motion to move this to an update item for now. So it stays on our update list, and...
And he would not need to show, right?
Yeah,
Or, Yeah, what's typical on an update for?
Do you want it to be an update item similar to the Legion property? Or do you want it on an update list and Mr. Story just keeps in contact with the town to provide updates and I provide those updates to you?
I would think so. That good with you, or any thoughts?
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Which preferred option?
With the update item, and then you would update Ashley, and then she would keep us posted
Yeah.
on.
That's fine.
That way, there's no need for you to keep coming to the meeting, just call in and we know, we have, verbal confirmation from Ashley during that, when it comes up on the,
Okay, no, that's fine, I can do that, I can keep it updated.
He has my contact information.
yeah.
Was my motion enough, or do I need to?
That's good.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion to move this to an update item by Heather, seconded by Jeff. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, vote carries 3-0. All right, and, so as per our conversation with Greg and I, that's the map for you.
Okay.
And whenever you have have the time, just feel free to reach out to Greg or I on the easement issue with that.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'll go with my.
Yeah, I figured since I was gonna see you here today, I'd at least hand you this so you had something to, review ahead of that meeting.
Okay.
All right?
Is this another meeting or no?
No, that's just, nothing for you, to show up in person other than, Greg and I can meet you somewhere just to discuss the, details on that.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 8, 7303 West 129th Avenue, South. If I'm pronouncing that correctly.
So, last I talked to him, he did know that the meeting was 10 a.m. He confirmed he'd be here. He has, since the last meeting he was at, submitted a building permit to repair the foundation. I'm currently holding it pending a time length approved by the Unsafe board for how long he can have that building permit for, and on how it can move forward with that one.
He pulled the permit he's gonna, as the contractor himself?
Correct, that he's going to be repairing the foundation to start, which I believe was kind of the comments and concerns of the foundation needed repaired first before moving forward on other items for that. So again, I have that permit, it's just waiting on any time period provided by the Unsafe board.
And just for the new members' information, long before any of you were members up here, God, it makes me feel old that I'm the longest not even serving, right? The person that's been at these meetings the longest. But early on when I started coming to these meetings, the board ran into a circumstance in which people were coming to the board and saying, we're gonna make repairs, or we're gonna demo structures, and the building department would issue the permits at the party's request, and then they would do nothing. Or they would sit on them for 10 months and then start doing work. So the theory behind limiting these time frames in the past has been, is to encourage people to keep up with their plans, or if they're gonna knock it down, to do it in a timely fashion. So we don't have a situation where you approve a permit for a year and they knock it down in the 11th month. And in the meantime, it's sitting on the agenda and everybody's going, well, what the heck's happening with that? So that's kind of the reason why in the past, these limitations that Ashley's talking about have been imposed to encourage residents to make the changes, the demolition, whatever it is, quickly, so we can keep it moving along, get it off this list, and move on to something else.
I'm no contractor, but I have dealt with rehabs quite a bit and foundations quite a bit. But I'm curious how someone could take care of this on their own.
I've seen people handling stuff like that before. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the correct way?
I was gonna say, that's the follow-up.
I would
House
say-
is like off of the foundation.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a thing that you mentioned, the right way or not, because, as we mentioned in the prior meeting when he was there, he started installing siding on the house.
Right.
Yeah, in
Entirely wrong. So,
Okay.
and that was vinyl siding. So,
Like filling some cracks on the foundation and actually correcting the foundation on two sides.
Well, so,
it takes a little more skill.
did you take these photos then, Tony, on this one? So is this photo I see in the corner, is that the worst part of the foundation?
I'd say so, yeah, and that's really the only concern as far as the foundation is considered. I guess it's more as a whole, what does he plan to do with the property? But fixing the foundation, yeah, it's not a massive repair for a foundation repair company or someone who's got the skills, and I just don't know.
But looking at where it's at, I'm assuming, that it is on the other photo just off of the deck by the front door.
Right.
So like the deck would have to be removed then to actually repair it correctly. Right.
Yeah, if the cracks go that far, if the separation goes that far.
It kind of looks like it, from where the deck is, and that it's got to be buckled out towards the deck.
Yep, right. So yeah, it's not a, 15-minute repair or something.
Do you know, is this a full basement under there?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you look at, the picture show,
like a
it's
walkout?
Right.
Yeah.
So traditionally, I have a difficult time talking about properties when the property owner doesn't have the courtesy to show up for us.
I agree.
We're like here solving his problem when he's not here. So
Okay.
I don't really have much to talk about with it.
So what do we
I
do
have a
moving
question.
forward?
If, to get a permit, does he have to have a contractor's license to do the foundation work?
No, if he owns the house, he's permitted to do anything he wants on his own house.
Okay.
Yes, when we get to, residential houses that are greater than 2 units, or commercial buildings, that it cannot be the owner of the property doing the work, they have to get a contractor. If it's a 2-unit house or less, the owner can be the one
Okay.
doing it.
Unless it's an
Not
LLC.
right,
Unless,
correct.
yes, it's gotta be like an actual owner, like this one is Tammy and Roger Vouch. If it was in an LLC or a business, then
Okay.
we require a contractor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So this is another one of those moving forward, no shows and hands tied at the moment.
I don't feel comfortable issuing him a building permit when I don't have
No.
any idea what his plan is.
Yeah.
So I would say we're stuck.
Would, in the past, I know, Heather, you're familiar with this, but for the new board members, if they didn't show, I'd be directed to send them a notice for them to appear, and it would be deferred until the next meeting.
Unfortunately, I think that's our only
That's
option.
That is our only option, so I would have to agree with that.
Okay.
Do you need that in a motion, or is that, I would say,
Yeah, put it in motion.
okay?
Okay, so I'll make a motion for a 30-day deferral, and ask that Ashley officially notice them, that they need to report to the next meeting.
Yeah, they were provided the same notice that everybody was for the January meeting, and that's when he acknowledged he'd be here tonight, and, yeah.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion for a 30-day deferral, also directing Ashley to send them a notice. Okay, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Item number 9, 7500 West 129th Lane, Barsukowitz. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, I'm sure I did.
Everybody does. Yes, I was supposed to bring to the meeting kind of a statement of work.
Okay, if I could get your name and address for the record, please?
Hi, it's, Tommy Barsowitz, 7500 West 129th Lane, Cedar Lake.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, let me get this up here. All right, do we have any more update on this one?
So at the November or December meeting, I'm trying to remember which one, Mr. Barsowitz appeared before the Unsafe Committee, He was given a deferral to the February 21st meeting, this meeting, to come with kind of a idea, scope of work of what it is that he would like to do with the property. He said at the meeting he appeared at that his intentions are to repair and fix up that house.
Yeah, and I see in my notes, it was December 20th one, so.
I thought it was December, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I just looked at the last one, so, yeah.
And this home was recently purchased by him. He was not aware that this report had already been done and this was already an issue.
Correct.
He was unfortunately late to the party.
Yes.
That's good, basically.
Yes.
So now, but then you came and your intention is to fix it up and sell it or keep it as a rental, and so what's your plan now with that?
So I mean, really, I know one of the items under, should I have the items on? One was to clean up the debris, so that was all cleaned up pretty much as soon as we bought the house.
Okay.
So we had to get a dumpster to get all the stuff out of there. The house was occupied by squatters, I know that for sure. I mean, I live next door, or I used to live next door. So that's that.
It's vacant now, though?
That house been vacant. So I mean, that one has been vacant for years.
It was occupied by squatters before you got it, is that what you're saying?
It was occupied by squatters before I got it, yes,
Okay.
while I was living next door. So I know exactly when they were there, when they left. How they lived in there, I have no idea. But, the next thing was, kind of repairing and replacing the siding. We needed, so fascia, soffits, siding, all that stuff. That's something I tend to do and get it all fixed up. One of the items in there was that there were some windows, especially one of the windows on, the south side of the building? That's just filled in with gray stuff.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
We're gonna fix that, we're gonna re-wrap all the windows, replace the windows that have to be replaced. And then, the house was so wrapped inside that removing a piece of drywall from the inside, make sure there's no mold or anything like that. I mean, that's something I tend to do anyway. If I rent it or sell it, whichever way it goes forward. The deck was always on the list of getting replanked and kind of refinished.
okay.
So we'll get that done. The foundation part that was under, I just want to dig around and see what exactly is going on, trying to get some quotes on that. I don't know what's going to take to fix it from the inside. It looks okay. There's really nothing bad. It doesn't look bad from the inside, because on the inside it's all exposed anyway. So there's actually no major cracks in the foundation. It just, I don't know what that is, so just have to dig around it and just get it fixed. And I think that covers all the items.
Is the shed still there?
Yeah, the shed is still there.
Or you're taking that down, I
I'm gonna
assume?
take it down, yeah. Yeah, that shed was,
Yeah, it looks like a tree fell on it or something, or,
Or it's just kinda like,
at one point, that tree fell on it, but.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
They actually cleaned the tree off of it.
oh,
oh, nice.
that's nice of them.
Okay.
Do you have a building permit, or excuse me, a remodel permit on this, or any sort of a
I don't have
permit?
anything yet.
Okay, when are you planning on pulling?
Once it gets warmer, because all the repairs are outside, and I'll probably be doing all of them anyway. So, like what I put in here, if I could have, 210 days, basically till the end of September. Somewhere around there, but we'll be pulling permits probably about April, May.
Okay,
So we're gonna start working on it. As of right now, it's all cleaned up, everything is secure, there's nothing, no way that it could cause any more damage.
And the house is secure, right, Tony?
I don't know, honestly, if
That
he's
was
saying it was secured when I was there.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking,
I mean, the house is locked, I own the house right next door, the
Mhm.
blue one. I have a camera, there was a camera, I gotta put a new one in, there's gonna be a camera pointing at it, so I know there's no squatters living there.
Okay.
I would imagine should someone move in there, they'd move pretty quickly if you walked in.
So,
I mean, we used to live next door, so.
Yeah.
I had an eye on it, right now the house next door is vacant.
I mean, this was an unfortunate situation for you, how you kinda got into it. I know your intention is to get it cleaned up, I do believe that that's gonna happen. Obviously, it's the middle of winter, it was when this all started,
Mhm.
so not too much can happen. Thank you for cleaning up the outside and making sure that stays.
Yeah, I mean, we basically, the second I closed on it, I got a dumpster, and we cleaned out the inside, and we cleaned up the outside.
So, if he's gonna pull a permit in April, right, you said March or April, we'll just say April,
Will probably be April, yeah.
Be safe.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think the work's gonna take? So you're planning on doing everything with the exception of the foundation and some sort of like major
Yeah,
repair?
depending what's in there, yep.
Okay, and what's your time frame-ish?
2 to 3 months, probably somewhere around there. Because, I mean, once I get the permit, I'll get the permit to basically, the house has to be remodeled on the inside, but also has to be done on the outside. I'll probably get a permit for the whole thing and just do it all at once versus having to split it up into 2 different permits or 2 different
Okay,
times of doing it.
what is your guys' thought on that?
Well, we've got to give him plenty of time to.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'd be a 60-day deferral for him to, if he was gonna say April for the permit, April 17th is our next meeting, which would be 60 days, correct? Is that
Yeah.
what you're thinking for, I mean, 'cause I was, well, if he pulls the permit, Ashley, then would he not need to show up, or could this be another?
Well, was gonna be my question.
Like an up,
If you, I don't want you to have to come back, as
Right.
much as you don't wanna
Yeah.
come back. If you were able to pull the permit before our next meeting, which is two meetings from now, so instead of giving you a 60-day deferral and having you come back on April 17th,
yes,
if you pull the permit before the
April
April 17th meeting, then we could agree that you wouldn't have to report to that meeting, and then give a time frame after that
absolutely.
to get the work completed. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I mean, I can come to the April 17th once I have the permit too. I mean,
Well, if you get the permit pulled before the April 17th, then you won't have to come. You actually just say, hey, pull the permit.
As long as we have that time limit established, so whether you're giving him that 2 months or 3 months or a period of that time, and then he can come back and provide an update, or he could send me an update. He does have my contact information, and I can provide that update to the board, however the board would like for that update to happen.
So, yeah, so April, if you get the permit pulled, I'm just thinking out loud, before April 17th, you would not have to come to that meeting. And then, 60 days after that would be our June 19th meeting, which would probably be pushing it close. But if you would would you want him to come back to it, or just give Ashley an update?
I would say that would be an update. I mean, if there's obvious, the permit's pulled, work is being done, it's getting taken care of, there would be no need for him to, I would say that would be more of an update.
Okay,
Honestly, I mean, I'm comfortable with that, how about you?
That'd be good.
an update before our June 19th meeting, just by calling Ashley and
yes,
saying.
and then does the permit have to be approved or just applied for?
Well, you would have the permit as of April 16th or whenever you come in, and so that permit would be good for 3 months?
Do you want to make it expire on the June 19th meeting or the day after, and then if he's still working on it, you guys can extend it, and I can let him know that the permit's being extended?
Yeah, I mean, I can guarantee you that the work will not be done by June 19th.
Yeah, that it gets you accountability to just give us an update, is all it does. As long as that update's done, we just extend it. I'm trying not to have you come here every month.
No, for sure. No, what I'm trying to figure out is, do I have to just submit my permit application by April 19th, or does it have to be fully approved?
Well, to fully approve it, it's just a matter,
As long as you...
I've dealt with it before, so we know what the thing is there.
As long as you provided me that timeline, he submits his permit with the scope of work, we review it, as long as everything's good to go.
so to answer your question, yes, if it's a paperwork issue in our area, then you're fine. As long
My
as-
question though, Heather, why would we want him to come back on June 19th? Because couldn't a typical building permit, say his house was not on unsafe building, he's coming in to get a building permit to remodel his house. It's good for a year, right? So,
I wanted an update before the June 19th meeting,
okay,
just an update.
just so we know,
He's plugging along
just
with
so we
that.
know it's moving along. Okay.
Confident that he's gonna plug along.
Yeah, that goes back-
Good for at least 6 months, I have to come in and renew it.
That's what I'm thinking, I don't see letting the permit only go to so long. I don't know if that makes things more confusing, or if his permit's extended, but he has to show up for
Yeah,
it.
just to be clear on one thing, so the way the process has worked in the past is the board says, we'll issue the permit for 60 days. Right? It
Okay.
expires June 20th. And he sends in an update to Ashley. It would just be a ministerial task for you guys to handle at the June meeting, say, okay, we're pleased with the progress, we'll extend the permit out until the end of September. It doesn't require him to come back in and reapply for it.
Okay.
It's no additional fees. You basically have the span of a year, but you're just setting those sort of road
The
maps.
stepping stone, okay, I
throughout
understand,
the
that's what,
entirety of it.
I mean, because I'm confident he will do the right thing,
Yes.
but going forward, there are people, if we give them the 6 months with no accountability, then 6 months is gonna go by and they're gonna say, yeah, we haven't started anything, but we're stuck then, because
Yeah.
now we've issued them
Okay,
6
I
months.
understand.
So I think just to create this is what we do and how we're gonna do it
Okay,
idea, my
understood.
idea. I have to repeat all that, don't I?
Not the last soliloquy, but
No.
the rest of it, yeah.
Step down from my soapbox and just do the business. Okay, so my motion would be to, how do I even say this? So we're, with the understanding that you're going to apply for your permit before our April 17th meeting.
Then it would be a 60-day till June.
Can we do a 90-day from April?
I would be fine with a 90 day.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
90 day, but if we can get an update before that June 19th meeting,
Yeah,
I mean-
if it's done before then,
and just calling Ashley and saying, hey, we're plugging along, this is where we're at with it. So, apply for the permit before the April 17th meeting. You'll be issued a 90-day permit at that time, which would carry you through to July 17th. And if you could just please give Ashley an update, before our June 19th meeting about how things are going. And should July 17th come to the meeting and you need more time, we'll extend it that time as long as there's
yeah,
progress being made, so.
I mean, if it's all done, I'll let you know. My intention is to have it fixed up as soon as I can, because I want to either sell it or rent it, whichever way it's gonna go. So you get all those updates, and
Okay,
Yeah, I believe that was a motion, I'll second it.
yes,
All right.
long-winded motion, but yes.
Yes.
I got it.
Oh, you got it, good, I'm not repeating it. 'cause-
Heather's motion is to defer this item for him to apply for a permit before our April meeting. The permit is to be for a 90-day permit, to expire on July 17th, and to provide an update to me before our June 2024 meeting. Correct.
That's what I thought.
Thank you very much.
I just have one question. If I apply for the permit in March, can we just set the expiration for July 17th and not say it's 90 days? Because I might just get everything together, apply for it, and then start getting everything together.
Right, yeah, we don't wanna hold you up if you wanna
Right.
apply for it earlier, so,
So, yeah, I think that'd be consistent.
Just set the permit to
Sort of the
expire
intent
July.
is, the expiration would be
The
the day
July
after the
17th.
July.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not 90 days, but July 17th.
Yes.
Yep.
Sounds
So you
good.
can apply for it tomorrow, and it still expires the day
Yeah.
after the July meeting.
correct, yep, that's what I'm saying.
All right,
All right, can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
yes,
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes,
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Motion carries 3-0.
good luck.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Item number 10, 14616 Dewey Street, Frick. I do not see
I am
him.
not seeing his attorney. Ryan, are you?
I haven't heard anything, but we do know he's represented by counsel.
Yes, I'm aware of
I have
that.
not heard anything from Attorney Kovachkoff. He contacted me before, what was it, the November meeting? And had wanted to defer, I think he
November,
sent somebody from his office here, but he was having, well, his wife was having a kid. I haven't heard anything new, but we know who his attorney is. I'm happy to reach out to him if that's what you guys want.
Okay, so no need to do like the motion for Ashley, sending out notice or anything, you can just,
And the notice would ultimately go to his attorney. I think it's
Yeah.
probably quicker for me just
Yeah.
to send Attorney
Do
Kovachkoff a quick
we need
email
any-
and say what's going on.
how would we do the?
We still need a deferral though, right?
Yeah,
Put it
just
on the
be
agenda.
deferral.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to do a 30-day deferral on this item, with the understanding, if you could please reach out to the
Yeah,
attorney.
I will.
Thank you.
All right. We have a motion, by Heather for a 30-day referral, seconded by Jeff. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes,
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes,
Mr. Teal?
Yes. Motion carries 3-0. All right, item number 11, 14737 Bryant Street, Bodenet.
This is updated. This is now 14737 Bryan Street Land Trust. I just forgot to get it updated on our agenda. My apologies.
Okay. Could you get your name and address for the record?
Yes. Lakshmi Tarava, 1110 Highland Street, Hammond, Indiana.
Thank you very much. All right, Ashley, do we have an update on this one?
So they submitted a building permit to demolish the garage on the property last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
The contractor and the owner representative have both been advised that they were supposed to apply for back in December. That was to expire at our January meeting. That permit never came through, so they were told that they had to wait until this meeting for a new time period to be set in order for that permit to be able to be released.
Just the garage was being demoed and you guys were gonna rehab and then flip the house, correct?
Well, on recent consideration of the budget that we had for this property, they have changed their mind, and they are in process of wanting, right now, to get that permit first of all, so that they could demolish that garage. But apart from that, going back to that cleaning, we had that done. All the debris was removed, and the grown grass and all the weeds and all that has been removed, and the area has been cleared. Now, going back to that other part of the flipping it, they have decided that they're going to sell as is. That's what their decision on that has been. So, right now, we just want that permit to get that garage demolished, and that is basically what they're wanting right now, to see how much time would we have to get that done.
Well, why wasn't it done, I guess is my question. When we were here last time, you seemed pretty gung-ho about getting it done.
Yeah, they had decided on that first, and they took a while to get someone that was reliable, that would actually come all the way over here to check the area, because all the ones that they were trying to reach that would be able to come over here and get that done, said they would come, they didn't come, so that's why it took a while. And then when they finally did, we had already passed that date.
And you're just talking about they were having a hard time finding someone to demo the garage?
Yeah, they had hired someone and they never showed up, twice, so.
So now we're rolling into another issue with the house is gonna be up for sale. It's on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Is there intention to take down the garage and then list the house?
I am assuming so, yes. Recently, they just, I think I spoke with Ashley, I believe. They had a dumpster there. They removed all the garbage and furniture and tables and all that was removed already from the property.
Yeah, I appreciate the cleaning up the exterior. Now, but their problem is gonna become someone else's problem here when that sells, and still our problem.
So there is somebody already lined up then to do the demo?
I believe so. That is why they changed their decision.
Yes, the contractor is the one who submitted the building permit. They have been contacting the building department, asking about any updates on it. They've also been told as well that we need a time period put on this because of the property being on the unsafe list.
So they're ready to go with the town, they're licensed?
They're going to need to get licensed before they can pick up the permit. As long as they have all their documents, they can submit their documents and pick up the permit the same day.
So why hasn't that been done? If you guys are waiting to come back in front of us, which is understandable, in the meantime, they could have already applied for their license with the town and been ready to go. We would have it issued tomorrow and we'd be rolling here.
Right. Well, I'm not quite sure. I was unaware of that part, that they're not licensed.
They've been told what they need to do to be licensed in the town. But no, at this time, no license has been pulled with the, or
Okay.
no contractor's license has been pulled with the town.
I might assume that since they're unfamiliar with how this town works in that area, that they have not submitted it. But, I mean, if you give us a time frame of, I mean, we have them, so if you tell me a month, we could do that way before. If by then that permit will be approved, in 2 weeks, we could get that done.
still thinking realistically, is that a 60 days if they don't?
No,
No?
not at this
sooner?
point, because when this was,
Okay.
when this
I'm just asking.
happened in
for-
December, it was like,
Yeah.
they were going, they were gonna rehab the house, the garage was coming down immediately, and now here we are, February, and nothing's happened.
Yeah,
We don't even have a permit,
okay,
and they're selling it.
yeah. Okay.
Are the sellers aware that they have to notify the buyers that this is
Yes.
within the town now?
Yes.
I don't feel great about the fact that they haven't been licensed with us. I understand that they were waiting for this meeting, but they could be licensed and ready. That doesn't make me feel great that they haven't taken care of that yet, which you've given them direct. When did they call about that? Was it a month ago or like yesterday?
They talked to our building coordinator last week about what's required to get licensed as a town. She told them at that point in time, I don't know if they wanna make sure that the permit's good. I don't know why they didn't go ahead and get licensed at that time. I'd have to check with her on if they told her anything.
Thoughts?
30 days sound good?
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable going longer than 30 days. So if we give you a 30-day extension on this, that would mean that the demo needs to be completed within 30 days.
Yes, the permit, I mean, as soon as they get all their paperwork in, how long? Like, that's an example. Today is Wednesday. If they get that in by tomorrow, how long would it take for that permit to be approved? And then depending on how long that takes, we can get things going on that demolition.
As soon as we're given a time frame, I can give it to Tony tomorrow, and however quickly he can get it turned around from there. As long as we're not missing any information on that permit, which I don't think we are. I think we've already kind of
And you're still
looked
wanting
at
to be
it.
here on the 20th,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So you understand what we need then from you guys as far as, okay. I'll make a motion for 30-day deferral on this to our March 20th meeting, with the understanding we really expect that to be all complete, the garage to be completed by that point.
Okay.
No, second.
All right, we have a motion for a 30-day deferral, with the intentions that they're gonna know that they're gonna have the garage demolished, in the next meeting is March 20th. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, vote carries 3-0.
You want a 30-day permit on that, or 30 days term on that permit?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 12, 14714 Dewey Street, Urban James Linden.
Yes.
Name and address for the record, please.
Well, as you have it here, Urban James Linden, 14714 Dewey Street. This meeting is certainly a lot different than the December meeting.
Changed a few faces on you since the last meeting, huh?
Everything has changed totally.
Yeah.
In that meeting, the person that seemed to be running the meeting said, well, the way I see it, I'm the one responsible for this. I have to make you guys happy. So what do I have to do to get your permission to fix all of these things? She said, there's no way I'm going to allow you to do this. So, what could I do?
Well, I'm aware, I was actually in the audience at that last meeting, so I remember it, I remember it very well. I see how bad a shape the garage is in. I mean, that is the main number one issue right now.
As far as safety is concerned, that's the major issue.
But
It's
I
more of a
agree.
case of picking it up than taking it down.
Well, but I agree
It needs to
with
go in a dumpster.
Heather's comments from the last time on the safety, that we cannot direct you to do that, yourself, because of a liability on us then.
Tony, did you go out here after, or go there after that meeting?
No. He said it's not better.
No, and like
Much
you said-
worse, I believe was
Yes,
the quote.
yes.
Yes.
You should see it now.
Yeah, so I think that the direction is that we were hoping that you would find a contractor to come. Wasn't he provided with the list?
No,
Or asked to call the next day and get the list?
He was asked to get a contractor's list. I don't think he ever came in. But after you asked if we had it online, we have actually worked, and we do now actually have a list of all registered contractors in the town on the town's website. If they go to cedarlakein.org and hover over the Building, Planning, and Zoning Department,
yes, several years ago, I dealt with one of Cedar
all of our
Lake's
registered contractors are online, and it's updated every week.
contractor that was just apparently approved by you because I never came down here at all. He come over here and got the permit. And $6,500 later, I can show you where some of what he did is responsible for the condition that the house is in now. Now, how do you know? I mean, you can approve a contractor, but that doesn't guarantee that they're gonna do what the person wants them to do.
Yeah, so that would be up to for you or whoever hires that person to do their due diligence. By being licensed with the town, it just means they've provided the correct paperwork for us. Their
I
insurance,
understood that. And the correct paperwork does not guarantee that that person is gonna do what you're expecting them to do.
it does not, no.
No, it does not. The only way the town or anyone else could know what kind of work a contractor does is if you allow them to work in that area and keep tabs on what they've done.
Yeah, that's out of our scope.
Some areas keep track of things like that, and they have another list, more like blacklisted
Some
contractors.
things that we've done, if you have a complaint like that, you need to report it to the town here, and then we've removed contractors who haven't lived up to the standards of the community.
Okay?
So you
Well, see, I
didn't
can do that
report
now,
that, you
but
didn't
I'm not
report
silly
that.
enough to give any names. You could look it up for this address, find out who the contractor was, and I'll bet he never got a permit to remove my back porch, but he did. And that was responsible for one of the major problems with the house now.
When was that work done, sir? Years ago?
Yeah, it's been several years. I don't know how far back your records go, but
So how can we help you facilitate this at this point? Because you've agreed the garage needs to be corrected.
oh, yeah.
So,
And, well, I tried to explain to people at the December meeting. There were
I was
lots
here.
of things in the garage, like used oil and fuel oil and gas, well, probably cans of gasoline, propane bottles, all sorts of things. There are a lot of hazards there,
yeah,
and I am concerned with the safety part. I don't want some ding-dong going in there and getting hurt.
yeah.
And doing something foolish, like trying to knock it down, could cause way worse problems. It has to be done carefully.
Correct, yeah. So at the last meeting, I believe the direction was to get our list of contractors that are registered with the town, and then call a couple of them and have them come out.
No, that wasn't what was said at all. That isn't the way it was said. It was if I stop in at your office and talk to two different people and explain everything to them, I said, well, can I get permission to do something then? She says, oh, no, there's no way I can allow you to do anything.
I was at the meeting, sir. I think the encouragement was you were making it seem like you wanted to do all the work yourself, and that concerned us, and we were asking you not to go out there and start moving things around and potentially getting hurt, is how I remember that conversation.
Getting it done is my responsibility. I'm not gonna do something if I don't know how to do it. If I do know how to do it, why can't I do it? I
can't tell you not to work on your own garage, sir. All I'm saying is that there are options with licensed contractors that will come and take the liability and the danger away from you doing that yourself.
Ms. Nassauer?
Yes.
I hate to interject here, but may I,
Sure, go ahead,
May I-
Mr. Parker.
may I suggest something? His situation is so bad, and it is so dangerous, and it's ready to fall. I would consider it an emergency situation. And I would suggest making some kind of a deal or agreement for the town to just go over there and get that one. And whatever the cost is for the town to do it, that he agrees to pay it and just get it over with. Because that is the garage, I don't think the rest of the house is, but the garage is a dire unsafe condition.
Absolutely by the photos.
I agree.
How does that work though, Ryan, as far as?
We've only ever had that situation occur, I wanna say it was once, 2 years ago, is after a fire. That was the only time that we use the emergency provisions under the statute, but they do exist.
But in
Under
the photos, to
exigent
me, this constitutes,
Mhm.
you know, I mean,
Well, I have another question about that. Those photos are from December of 2022.
I agree.
Nobody mentioned it to me at all until December of 2023. That doesn't seem right. If people are concerned about safety, how can you blow it off for a year? And then follow that up with, you're invited to the January meeting. No, we canceled it, come to the February meeting.
well, the reason for the cancellation was because of the new board members to kind of get caught up to speed with all of the stuff in the process, for unsafe building moving forward, coming up with a plan moving forward. That is why that January meeting turned into a work session more than a action meeting. Because there's two new members up here, getting familiarized with everything, the whole process moving
But if
forward.
something is so dangerous and you're concerned with safety, what do any of these reasons have to do with just delaying it? I would like to get it taken care of.
So to answer your question, Rich, under the statute, there is no necessity of entering any order. There just has to be a determination by the board that the action is necessary in order to protect the life, safety, or property of others.
Now, this would still need approval from the property owner as well, though?
No,
Or
not for an emergency action, it would.
Not for an emergency action? There's no liability that way to go in and take care of it?
How do you mean?
To just go in there without an understanding that he knows that this is gonna happen?
No, I mean, certainly if that was what the board would do, the owner is here, I would still suggest that a notification be sent to him identifying the emergency situation and what action is going to be taken. But there is no order, there's no hearing, none of that with an emergency action, but it's limited only to the area that is exigent, right? As Greg pointed out, it's not the house, it's the garage.
Correct.
So the emergency action would just be to remove the garage. In the prior case, that happened a few years ago, there was a fire and the remaining structure just wasn't safe, so just basically went and reduced it to a pile of rubble and then called it good, because then the emergent situation was over because it was all down. So that's kind of the situation you'd be in here, it's just get the garage out of here and then deal with the rest of it on the back end.
Okay.
Do they take the garage down, or do they take the garage down and then remove all of the?
Well, I think given the testimony that we've had today about the chemicals and things like that, just reducing it to a pile of rubble does not seem wise.
No, and I mean, I see what appears to be a pickup truck in there,
Yes.
Oil, in other items. So,
Yeah.
yes, just to
It has to
get
be
it
done
knocked
very
down
carefully.
is not wise.
No, you don't wanna knock it down.
So I think given that,
It's
the
down a lot
situation
now.
here would necessitate the removal of those items and the garage itself and the clearing of it off the property.
Okay.
Do you agree with that process going forward? That,
I don't see any reason why I cannot be allowed to remove the hazardous materials from the garage. I'm not gonna do anything stupid like have it fall on me.
You know, earlier we talked about it, if it's his property, I mean, we can't stop him from doing this, correct? I mean, we can be worried about your safety, but,
That isn't.
I mean, any project, you worry about the person's safety. I mean, we could put a time limit on that, but then would you get someone to tear the building down, the garage down? Well,
I don't know exactly what's there. It's gonna take some time to find out exactly what's there and if I can remove everything that's hazardous from it.
I mean, to me, it's kind of self-explanatory of what is hazardous, just by looking at photos, and I'm assuming this is almost visible, Tony, from standing outside to see what's hazardous in there, as far as the oil, 1-quart oil, containers, a toolbox, a charcoal grill, and to me, an assessment of hazardous stuff, we can see it from the photos.
Some of it. The roof on the garage and a loft at each end, big shelf at each end, there were things on those shelves. You can't see that from the pictures. Which could have been anything, paint, oil, whatever. Can of gasoline, whatever, It has to be carefully checked out. The only help I got was no help at all, but I was told, oh no, we can't allow you to do anything.
Well,
Sir, in one breath, you're telling us how dangerous it is, and the next breath, you're telling us you want to go into the garage.
No, no, don't twist what I say.
Okay, what did you say then? Clarify for me, because I'm confused.
I said it has to be done very carefully.
By you or by someone else?
Why not by me? How do I know anyone else is gonna do it carefully? I've had offers from people to take care of the garage,
So
and
then,
both it's
going along with what Jeff said, that we allow other people to do this, we are not, it is his property. I'm trying to figure out how to word that.
That's in our contractor's ordinance, that if it's an owner occupied, if it's the owner who owns it, it's not a corporation, it's not an LLC, that we allow them to do renovations, work on their house. That's in our contractor's thing, that's for contractors. I don't know if that covered removal of potential hazardous material.
Are you going back to saying what Greg suggested?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna have to.
Okay, how do we make that happen then?
Well, there's a couple of options.
Okay.
Right? And this kind of goes off to what Jeff had suggested. So I think there's probably two dual paths here that you could take. One is the board could declare that this is an emergency situation, direct us to prepare a letter notice to the property owner. Even though he's here tonight, we still issue it to him. And it would inform him that the exigent work would be completed by the town within a set period of time, probably within a few weeks.
Okay.
And then go from there. Secondarily, if it is, you guys don't want to feel that you're restricting him from doing it himself, because I think there's been an indication that he'd like to do that in some way, you could defer it for 30 days and inform him right then and now that if it is not down by the day before our next meeting, that the emergency will be declared, and you could have everything lined up to the building department, that if it's not down before the next meeting, the day before, then the day of the meeting, Tim or whomever goes out there and knocks it down. And we could issue the same letter notice, just informing him of that.
I'm good with that.
Option B.
So then it gives him the chance to do it.
Yes.
And also has the backup that if it's not done by March 19th,
By March
then
18th,
the
yeah.
town's gonna do it on March 20th.
Correct.
Do you understand that?
That sounds like the best option to me.
Okay, that's a good.
Okay.
Nope. You can take it.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion, for a 30-day,
I'm sorry to interject. Be careful on your language here, because 30 days is different than what we're talking.
Oh,
It would be a
okay.
deferral to permit him to demolish the property on his own, and the deadline for that to occur would be March 19th. And then the second part of that would be if the structure, the garage, is not down at the conclusion of March 19th, the town and the Unsafe Building Commission has determined that this is an emergency, and the town's building department will demolish it pursuant to applicable Indiana law.
I am not gonna be able to repeat all that.
Does somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, that's what I'm looking for. Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Stelzauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much.
See you in March. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a difference between this meeting and December. Oh my God.
Good luck. Be safe.
Please come in for a permit for that, for the garage demo.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Moving on to potentially unsafe item 13713 Parish Avenue, Diamond Peak Homes LLC.
So at the December unsafe meeting, a report was made by a concerned citizen about the old barn that is on Parish, just north of Beacon Point, Unit 5, commonly referred to as Beacon Point West. Originally, it had been owned by Schilling. They then have sold it to Diamond Peak Homes. Tony has gone out and created a report, which is in your iPad. In the past, with potential unsafe, the direction was, if the board deemed it unsafe, I would send a notice to the owner, and it would be moved to the active update, and they'd appear at the next unsafe meeting.
I'll also notate that we did not know that this changed ownership until that was brought up at that meeting, and it just so happened Jack Slager was here and let us know that Schilling no longer owned it.
Correct.
So, there's, okay. Are they aware that they're potentially unsafe? Were they aware that you were at the property, do you know?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I mean, for the reasons above, and also including that it's proximity to other homes, and the condition that I'm seeing now from the inside, it would be my direction to move this to the unsafe list officially. Also, because it's already changed hands once, who's to say it's not gonna change hands again, and then it's going to be someone else's problem. My concern would be that we need to move it and notify sooner rather than later before it would change hands.
If that is the direction of the board, I will get notices sent out.
How do you
Yes.
guys feel about that?
Sounds like a good idea.
I agree with that.
And so then they would appear at the next meeting?
At the March meeting, yes, that's when I would tell them to appear.
So is your motion then to move it to active and order them to appear?
Correct, yes, that's my motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Stelzauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
So that next one that goes on.
It'll be, yes, it'll be on the active.
Yes. All right, item number 2, and potentially unsafe, 14523 Bryant Street, Cox.
So this is, at the November unsafe meeting, a concerned citizen made a report to the unsafe board. Tony went out end of December to get the report made for this, to review this property and get this property in front of the unsafe board. I'll let Tony talk about this property here.
What would you like to know? looks like the back porch was put
Yeah.
on at some point, I have in the report, just looking back at the GIS images, it was put on without a permit, at some point, and it doesn't look very good at all. Aside from that, just, I mean, unsightly, you know, brush along the curb and what you see in the yard between the sheds and debris, and, debris and whatnot.
Is this occupied
Yes, it appears
by
to
the
be.
homeowners?
As far as I know, I don't know, it's not in an LLC or anything to that effect, so.
Have we had any contact with them?
No, we've not had any contact with them at this point in time.
I would say this definitely needs to get put on to the active. What's your thought?
Agreed, yeah. Tony, was the thought that just that add-on was the
Pretty much.
unsafe portion of it?
Yeah.
And on top of
yes.
just the exterior of
The clutter around,
Right.
Was that an old portion of the roof? Am I looking at correctly on the one photo with the doors, where it looks like it's roofing tar hanging down,
I
or?
honestly can't tell, I mean, it's a flat roof, so why there's shingles up there at all is a mystery. I don't know. I don't know if that's.
Like if,
in lieu of a gutter.
yeah, okay, so to move along, I would say to move it to active,
Active a notice for next month?
yes.
Yeah, I would make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to move this to active unsafe for the next month's meeting. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Nessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. All right, update items.
Would you like me to go through them all quickly?
Yes, please.
Number 1, 12901 Hilltop. Number 2, 6599 Fernwood. Number 3, 14021 Windsor Street. Number 4, 7029 West 135th Avenue. Number 5, 7020 West 139th Place. Those are all active items that have either had a stipulation signed or an affirming order, demolition orders conducted on those houses. They are waiting to be demolished at this time. Number 6, West 127th Lane, and number 7, 14324 Edison are town-owned parcels that have dilapidated structures that the town will be needing to take down. It's just a matter of how we're going to be able to access them. One is landlocked and one is well off the beaten path along unimproved right-of-way. So it's just a matter of how we're going to be able to get our guys out to them to take them down.
And just for your information, I am being bombarded in my ward about that 12901 Hilltop.
I remember you did come to me and showed me that the other day. And from my understanding, Bob, you said we already did have them, he signed off on us
Yes.
as well.
And we're, from what I'm told, we just don't have the money to do it.
Okay.
Correct, the 12901 Hilltop is the one that we have a signed stipulation on. All the others that are not town-owned are the ones that we have affirming demolition orders on, and Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, those expire at the end of the year?
I believe so. I'd have to look at the exact dates of issuance, but I don't know if it was last year or the year before.
Okay, and then, on the town-owned 127th, I shared with everyone, including, Mr. Duckmeyer, he's going to look into, we had some written communication, at one point, this parcel was put up for bid. There was one bid, the person that was, interested and is still interested. At the time, the deal did fall through because of the garage structure that is on there. She is still interested, so Ryan is going to go and discuss with Dave Austrian on how that process ended at the last time, as far as what we do as a step moving forward, whether it needs to get appraisals again, hopefully not. If, you know, depending on how it ended, is we need to find it out first. So if Ms. Reeves is still interested, we have, the email says that she has access through an adjacent property, or the town would, to actually tear it down. So we just need to find out right now, process moving forward,
on how we have to, does it need to go back up for bid?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, I mean, if it's the pleasure of the board, my understanding is that Mrs. Reeves is ready to purchase this property with the understanding that we remove the garage. So we have a piece of property owned by the town, we have a problem, and we have a solution. So I understand there's a process with
With selling town property.
However, if it's the pleasure of the board, as long as everything gets resolved with legal, I would like to give direction to Public Works to remove this garage, get this off of the town books.
Absolutely.
We have a purchaser who's ready to move,
Mhm.
and let's move it on and move on to the next one. So should that happen, I guess my point is, I don't wanna wait 30 days until we come back if they're able to work
Right.
it out
Yeah,
next
you
week.
don't we don't have to either, right? The order's already there, I mean, we don't even need an order, right? It's a
Yeah.
town-owned property.
So it would just be
Public
the
Works can just
direction
go in and knock it down with.
of legal
with the
review
rent
on,
on the sale to her, and I don't know the specifics of what had happened with all of that.
Right.
But as long as that's good, then
She's ready, like.
She's ready.
She's ready,
that's
so
my
it would,
understanding.
it'd be I would like to say that I would like to direct Public Works, after the legal things are worked out, to remove that property and let's let this woman buy it and move on.
I would agree.
What do you,
Now, we don't even need to put that in motion, we can just direct.
No,
Public Works to-
there doesn't have to be a motion, right? It's a town-owned property.
It's a town-owned
right?
property, so.
So if there's a communication made and Rich is on the council, and you can talk to the town manager, whatever, it's like everything's cleared up, send Tim or whomever out there to knock it down,
Yeah,
right? We don't need anything further from this
and I
board.
can make that, I'll talk to Jeff tomorrow.
Yeah, we just gotta clear up how the.
Well, I'll inform Jeff of the situation, that we'll wait to hear from your office and go from there.
Okay.
hopefully this is off of our update list in the next 30 days and we can,
Absolutely.
yeah, one last.
I still have a concern about 12901. It's got three.
Hang tight, Bob.
All
Hang
right.
tight. So my next thing I'd like to bring up is that exact property.
Mhm.
My major concern with that property is its proximity to the street.
Absolutely.
There's bad properties all over town, I understand you're getting calls, we all get calls about them, however, with the proximity to the street on this one, it's already such a tight area, if that thing, and it's like a one swift wind and that thing's coming down. Anyone who's driven past that, I don't even know how it's.
I've expressed my concerns about the exposed cinder blocks on.
It's so bad.
They're already leaning and.
It was bad 8 years ago when I walked through it, so I have no clue how it's still standing, but my concern is that that property is going to come down either on a vehicle or on a person as they're walking by on the street.
And I would say on a priority side, I think trying to pick up what you're saying is, to me, this takes more precedence than the four that are due to expire at the end of the year.
For sure, just because of its proximity. The rest of them, I guess, I'm not saying that they're not equally important, but my concern is for the safety of our community with this one, with how close it is to the street.
I would agree.
And just, you can drive by and see it's ready to come down.
So Ryan, is this another one where this would be another direction to,
Yeah, we have an order, or an agreement with the property owner, and I think this is number one on the update for that exact reason.
can we,
Next.
would this require any notice to send to him saying, hey, it's happening next week, or?
He agreed to have it come down, we could have taken it down the next day or a year from then.
So is this, will we file the lien then, and then go through the foreclosure process if necessary, if it makes sense financially at that
Right.
time to do so?
Yeah.
So we could very well retrieve our funds back from it.
Mm-hmm.
But either way,
We just have to update title on this. Title was run on this probably a year ago,
Mhm.
so that'd be the only thing that we would need before getting all the liens done.
so updating title and then directing Public Works to get this taken care of.
No, we don't, that's on the back end, right, for our title stuff. On the front end, you just pick up the phone and say, knock it down tomorrow, and they could.
I mean,
If
it's
they wanted.
bad.
Yeah, I agree, I will discuss that with Jeff and Tim tomorrow.
So yeah, I guess this would be bumped as, it's already number one on the list, so.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel this is priority one versus the other two that would, we have till December, not that
I
I
would
want to
imagine
take
this
that
one's
long.
probably a little less costly to knock down. I mean, it's right
It's already
there.
had
It's right
on,
there, yeah.
so.
Okay.
Board discussion, unsafe ordinances, related matter, do you have anything right now? I mean, I hate to cut into the other meeting, we're already in 20 minutes. Just for an understanding, I know I've mentioned to you guys in the past about that unsafe non-reverting fund. I did speak with Jennifer yesterday, and she expressed her concern about the money that typically transfers from PVB to unsafe is already earmarked for it. So at this point, without updating the ordinance, just to transfer the money for the sake of transferring it into a fund is kind of frowned upon by the State Board of Accounts. It's there. So we have the money to tear this house down right now. So in my thought process of, it was just create the funds, put it in there, and create the ordinance for whatever fee schedule we spoke of for unsightly debris and stuff like that. Dave mentioned about a transfer resolution. Jen is like, well, that runs into an issue with State Board of Accounts. Now we're transferring money just to put it into a whole new account without having direction of fees going into it, other funds going into it as well. If that makes sense. I know Jen can explain a lot better.
No, I don't, it doesn't need to be explained. We have a major problem, and we have a solution, and we have a legal team, and we've got a clerk. So they need to figure it out.
Yes.
Like, we're already in February, it's March next week, and here we are still talking about the exact same thing. So whatever they need to do.
If I may, what needs to happen is you guys need to make a recommendation to the town council to investigate the amendments to the ordinance and the amendments to the nuisance provision specifically that we talked about last month. That will get the ball rolling, because the town council is ultimately the one that, if you did a transfer resolution, would have to approve that. If there's gonna be ordinance changes, has to go through the council. So we need to make sure that we're linking those two items from this meeting to that meeting. And that is just purely by making a recommendation to the council to look at the revisions to this ordinance, the creation of that fund, and the funding of that fund.
Right. And so at this point, to take this down, nothing needs to happen other than instruction to do so.
Yeah, you're talking about the Lomberger house, we're kind of bumping back and forth.
Right, yeah.
That there's money for, go for it, right? And whether that money comes from the unsafe building fund or comes from something else, as long as there's money.
Yep.
We have an order.
Okay.
Or an agreement, actually.
So you're gonna take care of it as far as going back to the council at this point?
Yes, and I've already filled them in on other things, you know, as far as the ordinances with the non-reverting fund, with extra funds coming in, additional to the 10,000. Sue Hayes is supposed to be getting with, Corby as far as that goes. So yes, the process has started.
So Heather, what I would recommend is to keep the process moving, and I know you're an action person, would be to take an action tonight, other than just telling Rich to do it. And that would be, if the board wants an official action, it would be a recommendation to the town council to begin, you know, the process of revising the unsafe building ordinance, bringing it up to 2024 standards, you know, looking into what we need to do to fund that unsafe non-reverting fund, and then updates to the nuisance ordinance. Those are the three specific items that we had talked about last month that were kind of pending and hanging out for some investigation to occur on. Now you're looking for action. That action from this commission comes in the way of a recommendation to the council.
So I need to make a motion?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I make a motion?
Will we have to amend the agenda for this?
No, it's already here on the agenda.
Okay.
All right, I'd like to make a oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to,
recommend
to the town council to revise the current ordinance, to update the nuisance ordinance and fee schedule, and correct whatever needs to be corrected for the fund, so the unsafe buildings can have their
Adequate funds moving forward.
adequate funds moving forward, and that the fees from the nuisance ordinance go into the unsafe fund. That's my
Okay.
direction.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Ms. Stenshour?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 3-0.
All right, good for public comment?
Moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment on our state building? Going twice. Anything online, Ashley?
Nothing
All right,
online.